Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today, got another movie review. This time we're reviewing a movie coming off the third movie of this franchise, and Angel Has Fallen. And that review is coming to you right now. So, Angel Has Fallen, directed by Ric Roman Waugh, who's traditionally known for his stunt work in Hollywood, is now directing this movie, and he's also got another movie I just plugged right now called Greenland that's coming up very soon. But he takes the helms of this third movie of this franchise, where this time, where of the other two movies, where Olympus Has Fallen was more about the demise and the fall of the White House, and London Has Fallen was more about the attack and the fall of London during the G8. But this time, it's not technically a landscape, a destination, or some type of landmark of some sort fallen. This time, we take a look at the man in ex-Secret Service agent Mike Banning, played by Gerard Butler, who reprises his role for the third time in this franchise, where we see sort of say the mental impact, the physical impact of all his time in the service and in this role has really brought him to this point where which is two things I want to make sure I get in before I forget is that, like, with this being the third movie of the franchise, and considering the direction of what this movie was wanting to accomplish, this is a good time to get into a franchise without having to see the other one. Because again, this one is about the man, the mental, and Mike Banning, has always had Allan Trumbull, who is the president, played by Morgan Freeman, who we've seen in these movies actually get to the point of being the president. And he's literally, when it comes to trust, Mike Banning is his guy. This is the only guy that he trusts. But Mike Banning right now is dealing with some internal issues himself, where we see the fact of him being so obsessed with the job, he's willing to risk everything else. His mental, his physical capacity, his family, who he puts on hold, and he even lies to the president at times about his well-being, because of his obsession to get the job done. So this movie starts off instantly in a training exercise. And one thing I'm going to say right now before I even start this review, I'm going to really try to keep this as spoiler as I can. This is to give you minor details of things that's going on, but I just give a fair warning. Like, if you feel like there's any possibility that I may give you anything about the plot that you may not want to hear and you just want to watch the movie, I sincerely apologize, because like, this movie, and I won't give you the big, unreal reveal or anything of that sort. But this movie does contain a lot. It's a lot going on. But I'm just gonna say, make sure when you watch this movie from the very beginning, pay attention to everything. Everything connects. Everything has relevance. Every single thing. Pay close attention. This movie has a really psychological like connection to everything. Everything means something. I really thoroughly enjoyed the fact of a movie not only having really good action from the beginning, but also making you think, making you ponder, making you want to be an agent of some sort, because you're quickly trying to assess who's what, who's doing what, who's connected to what, because there's a lot of that going on in this movie. But this movie instantly starts from a training exercise, and we see Mike with his one of his friends that he's served some time ago in Wade Jen, who's played by Danny Huston, who is phenomenal in this movie. And moving forward, he's Mike Banning is the right hand of the president, Allan Trumbull, and he wants to get away from Washington. There's a lot going on. There's actually a lack of trust in the office right now. People are leaking out stuff to the press, and the president wants to know, like, who's doing this. And he says to Mike, he says, like, I can't trust anybody. And when the president says he can't trust anybody, that's really alarming. But he trusts Mike all the time, and you see that dynamic, which you've seen in the other movies. The trust between the two of them, because of all the things they've been through, really stick tight, firm in this movie. But The president wants to get away from the White House, wants to get away from Washington. They go on a trip. They go on a fishing trip, and even in this fishing trip, Mike is still suffering physically, mentally, where he can't even barely keep himself awake. He's like slurring on speech and so forth. And the president said, "Don't worry. I know you got my back, but like take care of yourself." And instantly, when that happens, there is an attempted assassination on the president. And this scene is super awesome because it's a drone attack, and the drone attack is so cool because we get to see some drone aerial camera shots and so forth. But the action and so forth in this shot is so amazing. But again, like the way in some of these scenes how this movie is shot is good because they use a lot of drones. They shoot a lot of footage and a lot of scenes using drones. So some of the swarming like scenes and stuff is really, really cool. Also, I'm a big fan of when I catch like Easter eggs in movies and stuff like that. There's a scene where Gerard Butler is talking to Morgan Freeman, and he mentions something about being on a submarine and how and so forth. I forget the joke in its entirety, but it's clearly a nod at Gerard Butler's other movie, Hunter Killer, which I thought was pretty cool as well too. So I always love when they have stuff like that. This movie is legit filled with a really interesting and star-studded cast. Jada Pinkett Smith plays the FBI agent in the movie. I really love the work that she's doing in her Facebook live series and Red Table Talk. Seeing her as an FBI agent, total badass. Piper Parable is the wife of Gerard Butler, Mike Bannon, in this movie. And the really interesting thing about her role is that she's just not the mom of the Secret Service agent. She actually holds her own in this movie. And not to mention the fact of like they have a child in this movie, which is a 3-year-old. The fact of her not only having to act, but when you think about the like how you being in charge of a baby while acting, it's phenomenal in its own. And considering seeing the emotion that is as authentic as it comes with this baby in this movie, considering that she's not only able to take a mother role in the movie, but a mother role in real life, to be able to get some of these scenes shot is absolutely amazing. Total hats off to her. Lance Reddick, coming off of John Wick 3, he plays Gentry. I love this guy. I mean, this guy's badass and everything he does, but he always, I swear, every scene you see him, you just it makes you ponder like, what is he up to? What's the end game? Who else is in this movie? Nick Nolte. I tell you, Nick Nolte plays the dad of Mike Bannon in this movie, and man, the scenes with them two are beyond epic. Nick Nolte, I believe his name is, let's check the notes real quick. Clay is he's also served in the service himself. So you see the dynamics of what a dad has suffered in the service, and then the son is now, and the fact that they never had a relationship is, and the fact that they get together for the common good and protection of family is really, really good. I mean, Nick Nolte is he's just a legend in his own, and the scenes, every scene that he's in is absolutely a charm because obviously the script, but then that he's ad-libbing a lot of the stuff that he's doing, because he's just that good that he's able to captivate each scene, make it his own, and make it super genuine. I thoroughly enjoyed every scene that he was in. Another important thing, like I want to make sure I make this very clear, that this movie is really about the man in Mike Bannon, and we do see again like how mysterious he is, and the mystique, and how much we don't know about him because of his time in the service, where his wife says she's never heard military stories about him. Family is obviously something that he's been keeping pretty much on us. She's never really had a connection with his dad, so you see that unfold, and you really just see a lot within the mental of the guy Mike in this movie, and it really provides an emotional roller coaster at times, because you see a guy who's so dedicated to his country, so dedicated to his job, that at times his wife is on hold, the family, the baby is on hold, the job is priority, his health is on hold, the health status is a lie, and so forth. And it's just really interesting to do to take a dive into this role, which is not, you know, far-fetched. Even in the Q&A, if you check out the Q&A video that I posted, you hear from an ex-Secret Service agent saying that a lot of this holds very authentic to the life and time and being a Secret Service agent. And you just makes you appreciate it even more because of the fact that you had eyes such as an ex-Secret Service agent. Not only he starred in this movie as well too, but not only that, but you know, he gets to give his input to make sure that this is authentic as it can be without giving too much into the detail, because you don't want that information to get out, but to make sure that the feels and so forth is in there. The score of this movie is also really climatic. Like it takes you on the ride, like the ups and downs. It keeps you at literally the edge of your seat. And not only with just a lot of the hand-to-hand combats, the scenes where a lot of the action scenes, a lot of the explosions, the guns and so forth. Just even some really cool car scenes, and there's just this 18-wheeler scene that is just nuts. This movie has a ton of great tech, as you would expect. And it just leaves you to a point that, you know, watch this movie, you want to actually become an investigator too, because you want to solve the mystery of basically who set up Mike Banning, the guy that, you know, he is the president's guardian angel, and he has fallen because, as far as they're concerned, he's the one that's behind this attack on the president, as he was the only one to survive after the whole Secret Service detail was killed in this attack. He was the only one, but why him? Why was it him? And if it wasn't him, why would somebody want to set him up? And that's what this movie takes you on a ride to investigating and solving. And it's a really fun ride. Tons of spoilers. And again, the other movies, they're, you know, I felt like London's Fallen was not all that very CGI heavy. This movie, I feel like, reeled it back a little, made things a little bit more practical. There is a big CGI, there's this big CGI explosion scene, as you would expect. I think that's very true to the franchises, that they want to make sure that they keep that funness in the movie. But this movie, I feel like, was just more practical, and it was more heartfelt, more heartfelt, because again, it's more about the psychological of the main character that we have invested ourselves in within the last two movies up until now. So I think that, you know, considering that this was the direction they wanted to take and that everyone signed on for this is what Gerard Butler's vision and idea was upon approaching the directors, that, you know, I think they really captured that. And I really think that, you know, seeing the audience response to this movie in the certain scenes and how loud the movie was, how people jump, how people, you know, sigh and grasp in certain scenes, I think that they really hit their target here. And I think that a lot of people should enjoy this movie as it comes out next week. But like I said in the beginning, make sure you pay attention to every single thing in this movie. Everything. Even the things you like, why would they, just everything. Pay attention to everything, because it's really important. And it helps you, not only stays invested into the movie, it also gives you tips about how this movie may unravel towards the end. And even at the end, you may still be very, very much surprised. But it's super interesting. A couple of things I want to make sure I point out as I look at my notes really quick is that there's a PvP, player versus player scene. If anybody play video games know what that is, that really gives you an over the map view towards the end of this movie. Very cool. I don't think I've ever seen a movie shoot something like that. It was very cool. But again, the drone shot, because it's very cool, on top of a rooftop too, so it looks very modern warfare, Call of Duty style, which I very much appreciate. There's a mid-credit scene that is absolutely hilarious. You want to make sure you stay and pay attention to that. Morgan Freeman is the man in this movie. Morgan Freeman is still killing it very much like a legend in the game, and still after I think Morgan Freeman's almost like 80 something years old, still killing in the roles he does. I thoroughly enjoy seeing this guy still in films, and really, you know, anytime he talks, you just really, it really commands the attention of the viewers, because he's just that iconic in everything he does. But other than that, I think that you know, this movie was really good. A lot of explosions, a lot of guns, a lot of tech, but it also holds a really good emotional value for the viewers. And there's a little bit of something for everyone. I mean, again, you see the wife of Mike Banning, who steps up to not just be just the wife, but you know, she holds her own to make sure that she protects the family. You see the trust that she has in her husband in this movie, and it speaks volumes. And again, Jada Pinkett Smith, as badass as she is, she's the head FBI agent that takes charge of the investigation in this. I mean, when she's on the screen, you're just like, wow. You're just like, she commands such a presence in everything she do. Danny Huston is my guy. I think he is one of the most solid actors out there, and his role in this movie is super good. And I just think that the casting just up and down is just really good. Another couple of people, Tim Blake Nielsen, who plays the vice president, is back. It's another person that I really appreciate the efforts that they put into their acting and so forth. But yeah, I hope you guys do check this movie out. It comes out next week. I think you would enjoy it. I think this is definitely how you bounce back from you know, in a lot of displeasure in London as well. I don't think a lot of people was fond of it, but I think if you want to really keep this franchise going, this is exactly how you do it. And again, if you've never seen the first two, this is exactly where you want to jump in at, because this is a good starting point. And I think that it's a really safe. I think not only is it a good starting point, but it's also a safe point to start here, but then go back and watch the other ones when you got time, and you'll be perfectly fine with that. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and stay tuned for the next review. Also, check out the Q&A video that I posted from the last night's screening, and also stay tuned for exclusive interviews with the director and also the ex-Secret Service agent, who will be talking a little bit more in the detail in an interview about the becoming of this movie. So we will have Ric Roman coming on here, and his name is and Mickey Nelson, who's a Secret Service agent, who also has some lines in this movie, which is also pretty cool too. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned to that, and I hope you're subscribed, and we'll catch you for the next review. Big old bell.